Welcome everyone to today's Midnight 6.6 training session. Today we'll be covering the orders system within Midnight. We look at how to create orders, either by brand new creation or through copy. Look at how to create versions within orders. How to add and track inventory on orders, as well as track issues or problems that you may need to log expenses against for your orders. Finally, we'll be taking a look at some reports that can be accessed within the orders. Orders themselves can be found within the customer service module within the orders specific submodule. By clicking in here, you'll see a list of all of your currently open orders. By default, the screen will only show open orders despite having a close date column. However, you can change up your search filters in here to show different types of information. This has orders for one particular customer, orders for a sales rep, or within a date range. You can consolidate filters to show more than one type of focused information for your particular search. And you can use the extended search function here at the top to search for either date ranges or a variety of other specific options. The order date, which you see down here, allows you to search for a single date, but alternatively, if you'd like to search for a date range, you can add a from and through date. Doing this and then clicking submit updates the search screen with the search information of what you add up here. You can also do the same for the order's due date and close date, and also for the quantity of the order, which comes from the expected quantity value under an order's info tab, which we'll be looking at shortly. There's also some status options that you can look up information on, as well as progress updates. So we can search for jobs that are, say, in the middle of being worked on or ready to be billed. We can search for up to 3 of our customizable user-defined fields, which we'll be covering at the end of the session, on up to 30 specified unique fields that can exist within orders or order versions. To search for these, select what you'd like to search through, and then plug in a value to be referenced. And lastly, we have our 2 checkboxes for show closed orders and show versions. When you check either of these boxes or fill in information here at the extended search, you click submit. Then the search screen will be updated to show you a list of everything that falls within that category. For instance, our closed orders are now returning the 2 closed jobs. If we were to remove this project name and go back to our customer filter only, we see as far as version data, I have 3 1733 orders, meaning that these 3 orders versions are all within the same order as 1733. You can remove all of your filters by either clicking this cancel button here, or if you have something typed in this upper search filter here, clicking this clear filters button to remove this tables area of filters. A different method of data presentation can be done by clicking the column header name for what it is that you'd like to sort by. For instance, sorting by customer, sorting by order date, sorting by due date, etc. And you can click the reset filters button here to reset your sorting method back to its default. And lastly, after you've decided which order you'd like to access, you can click the blue text for the order number or the project name, or you can access the recently visited pop-out, which shows the 10 most recently accessed orders for your particular user profile. Click into any one of these or any of these URLs out here, and it'll bring you straight into your job. Now, there are a couple of ways to create orders. Normally, you'll be coming into the orders module and clicking the green new order button. Alternatively, you can do this from the home page, because under the quick links here, there is an add order button. Either way, you do get into the order screen, which you can begin filling out general information for your jobs, such as your customer, due date, services, quantities, etc. Note that within this order screen, we're given a new order, which is sequentially generated from the order numbers that exist before it. And you can begin filling out your information at the top, such as your customer, any other information about the job related to, say, production, and of course, giving your job a project name. The screens that we have down here for the tabs are a little bit different from the estimates that we saw in our estimate training. The general tab shows the majority of the information that we would expect to see, such as the expected quantity, some status information for job and production level info, and an update quantity button. We also have our user-defined fields, which here in the orders of left to right, 1, 2, and then 3 here. And then as we can see, 4, 5, and 6, just like you'd see on a phone. We also have this info comment. This comments block is reserved for showing information on a work order report. If you need comments for invoicing, you'll find those under the Details tab, under the Invoice Comments block. And in this Details tab, you'll see more order-specific information. To explain what versions are, think of them as being jobs within jobs that can be created to separate out billing instances or production time frames. Creating a version means you may have different services that need to be produced or worked on over a different time frame, or different batches of services that need to be sent out and billed, say, on a weekly or bi-weekly time frame. All of those versions together may equal out the numbers that you need for one job. What that means is that you may have job-specific information as well as version-specific information. The Details tab that we're in corresponds specifically to order-wise or order-level information, such as the user who created the order, an estimate that the order was copied from, the expected quantity, which is the sum of all quantities across all versions, or the order's entire quantity, and notably the ref number. The ref number here, if enabled, represents the order's actual number. So if you want to change the order number, you can change this ref number and you'll update it accordingly. Other pieces of info that are different from estimates include the copy from order, which is similar to a copy from estimate value to let you know where the source of this job came from, and the prepay checkbox and AR export date fields. Prepay allowing you to prepare a job to be exported out of Midnight and into your accounting system of choice like QuickBooks or Peachtree. With the absence of a due date, normally you could not do that. However, checking this checkbox does make it available for export at any time. You also have the AR export date, which shows a date and time stamp of the last time an order was actually pushed out of Midnight. You see other production information here, such as the job progress and leftover commands. And we have our UDFs, or user-defined fields. These are the order level UDFs versus the order versions that we see under the general tab. The shipping tab allows you to plug in information for shipping and billing info. If you have a different contact assigned to your customer record that may have different address information, for instance, an attention to or an accounts payable account, you can have them set up for selection. But then you can also have a specific address, say receiving department, or you can have a specific name and have a different address associated with where you're actually sending the goods versus sending the bill. This information defaults from the customer when you select it. However, you may want to either pull information in from the CRM, assuming you've updated the customer records info, or you may have not set up a billing and shipping address for that customer yet. And therefore, the simplest way to get data in for the address info is to copy the bill to and ship to from the CRM. You also see there's some buttons up here in the upper right. The ship to multiple locations allows you to send where you'd like to distribute your goods over a variety of locations that are assigned to a customer's profile. The ship tracking or shipping tracking is effectively a location that you would store your tracking number information for shipping costs, as well as just some other details like the weight and carrier of the goods as you're preparing to ship them. This tracks information across costing, so that way you can more accurately determine the true expenses or cost for your order. The add pickup and add delivery ticket do exactly what they say. They create a pickup or delivery ticket within our system, which is effectively an item request for shipment or item request for receiving. Well, this means is that effectively you can use the delivery ticket to create a packing slip, thereby supplying your job with a matching packing slip that would make more sense based on what the customer may have ordered. And for a pickup ticket, if you need to, say, grab goods from a different location or a different warehouse or facility, in order to facilitate the needs of creating what you're working on, you can create one of these instead. The attachments tab does pretty much exactly what you'd expect. It allows you to supply attachments to an order, such as a contract, a PDF that was being used as a proof, or some other file type. The Proofs tab allows you to fill out specifically a list of new proofs that may be associated with the particular job that you're working on. And you can see the status of them, such as whether or not they've been approved or declined by a particular user at the organization that you're sending your proofs to. You can create a new proof straight from here by clicking the green Add New Proof button, or you can just monitor your proofs that have been created just by coming in here for the job. The Purchase Orders tab allows you to do pretty much the same thing. Create a PO by clicking this green Add New PO button, and monitor the status and details of that PO. And finally, the Versions tab is where you'll either be able to manually create one new version at a time from scratch, copy it so that way it carries information in from a previously existing version. A great way to save time on data entry. Or enter one to modify it as necessary. Back in the General tab, we'll see our version-specific info, or if you don't use version within Midnight, just your order information for your services and such. The tabs we see here after the Info tab, but before the Drops tab, represent our different service types. And these are where we'd add in our services to prepare everything for billing. The Drops tab allows us to set up more than one date that may be required in order to complete a particular job. Notably, in these cases, what you'll find yourself doing is setting up either one or multiple drop dates and having a different quantity associated with them. So that way, if you're sending out different quantities of the same piece or the same type of good to a different customer, you can definitely make sure that your shipping drops are set up as needed. The complete checkbox here refers to production information. If you have a complete checkbox set, then anything that's being worked on for production makes all of those services effectively marked as complete. And if everything is completed, you can apply a date, so that way you can mark when everything's been completed. The postage tab refers to your postage stamps as well as your payments that are being made across the job. If you fill out your different postage affixes, they can represent the stamps, meters, and different rate charges you can apply towards your clients. And you can fill out information on the quantities and rates so that we can bill them accurately for the postage that they'll be using on a job. This is different from the postage payments that you would apply to your job, such as receiving funds that are wired to you, making a payment via check, or even cash. We cover how to make those in our postage training, but do note again that this is where you add your stamps and meter information and account for payment. The data postage tab is where your CSRs and accountant will likely fill out more information or stick into it so that way they can make sure everything's filled out as necessary for either where your goods need to go, when they need to go there, or the status of your job. Finally, the inventory tab relates to the items that are assigned to your job. You can either create them one at a time in here, or you can add them from a print calculator service, which automatically places those onto your job. Now I've isolated how to fill out general information on your order and also what everything more or less relates to. You can create orders by either copying them from another job by clicking this green copy button here at the top, or if you happen to be pulling up an estimate and you want to convert it to an order, then if you enter your estimate, you can simply hit the export to order button here in the green. This will create a new job and it will bring you straight into your new job. Carries everything in as far as service and postage data goes. And for your inventory, where you don't have an inventory tab within the estimate screen, an inventory item that's utilized from a print service, if there were one, we pushed into the inventory tab. Now at this point, you've done pretty much everything as far as seeing where the general order information goes. There are some subsidiary areas of information you can find within the quick links. In here, for instance, you can quickly add a customer or add inventory to your system and then have those automatically added to the job itself that you're working on. This is useful if you have a customer call in and they don't currently exist in your database. You just want to begin filling out information for a quote for them and then go back to their customer profile and confirm information later on. The same goes for inventory. If you're utilizing an item that doesn't currently exist in your website, you can click this, get a pop-out allowing you to fill out general information about the item at hand, and once you click Save and Close, it adds that item to the order. You have the audit log, which allows you to see all users that have entered an order, the user that created the order, and also an update to show you when users actually updated the order, which triggers anytime someone does a save command like opening a report or just clicking the save or save and close button. Also in here you have access to the group billing module, which gives you the ability to change up how you bill your services by consolidating them into more concise groups of line items that are presented to your client on an invoice. And the last one of note includes the issue tracking, issue search options. When you select issue tracking, this allows you to fill out an issue against an order. It brings you to a new screen. Normally it would bring you to a new screen. It allows you to fill out what the problem may have been, if it's tied to a specific service, and if so, how, and if there's a cost associated with it, such as a credit that needs to be applied to a customer or something else. You can get to the issue search page by going to your quick links here and running a search on all outstanding issues that are currently logged in your system. In this case, you'll see if I create it, it defaulted the customer associated with their job. If I selected a version and then also a service tied to that version, if there's any services on there, then you can pick them and fill out details about everything, as well as the credit amount and issue cost. The issue cost will track against your job detail report. The credit expense or credit amount will not. And you can also add a close date to mark your issue as completed or resolved, whatever you want to define it as. So that way you can have it logged as completed. And if it relates to something like fixing a customer's problem, you can assume that it has been done. Those are the common ways to create and micromanage your orders, just to a general extent. Other information as far as orders go come from the reports that you can view in them. Order reports are more detailed than estimate reports because there's so much more information to consider as far as a live order goes. The reports are accessible through the reports button here. And in this list, you'll have your either standard or custom report. In particular, notice that there are many invoices. Our system assumes that you have a lot of different ways that you'd like to present your information to your clients as far as billing. And you can open up an invoice that refers to the style that you're wanting to bill them by, whether you show individual line item prices, consolidate everything into a single item, allow you to pick and choose and group as needed, etc. You also have a packing slip report that you can create in here, which is a very basic form. It just allows you to plug in some named information for your job. That way your customer has an expectation of a document that they can receive with their shipment, letting them know what exactly it is that they have. You have postage prepay invoices, which allow you to send a postage-related invoice out to your customer, letting them pay for that in advance. And probably most notably, you have your work order report. Work order reports will show information for your job in a production level. They'll show general information about when something is due for the customer, what needs to be done for them specifically. If there's print services, then you'll group everything together for those print services, like the associated bindery, such as cutting and folding. And you'll have a section at the end of the report for your inventory as well, and you see all of the items that are required to complete your job and where you can find them. You also include a barcode, which means that if you have our inventory app for scanning inventory and quickly monitoring and micromanaging its transactions, you can scan the barcode here just to quickly get your information entered into the app rather than hand typing your inventory each time you want to select and deduct it. Other reports that you may need access to as far as order-based information goes can be found within the reports module. Specifically in here, you'll find either production reports, which show information on live orders, or the status of orders upon their completion. Of note, I would suggest a job to mailed report, which checks to see if a job is given a status that implies that it's been done with production and is now ready to be sent. One of our production reports, which shows just general information about a job, such as what needs yet to be done for it and when it's due. And our drop report, so that way you can actually see the progress of your job, monitoring the status of their shipment and delivery. In this case, you can see that I had my due date and my actual drop date 6 days apart for this particular job. So you can use this to track productivity for your orders. We also have sales reports. In here, we'll see a list of reports that will reference some estimates, but mostly orders. Some of them allow us to see all of our open orders. Others, like a sales report, will show closed orders only. So depending on what you're looking for, one of these reports will probably do what you're looking to do. And it's just a matter of finding the right one. Finally, for today's training, we'll take a look at our admin menu. In the admin menu, we'll be looking at some areas that fall within the guidelines of being able to be updated within an order. In particular, you'll have your global settings, which is the first place you go for order data management. Specifically, the controller to edit order numbers is here. When checked, this allows the user with the appropriate security level to update orders numbers. If this is unchecked, then no matter what, an order numbers cannot be changed. If you click the blue accounting integration button, you can pick the different accounting export program that you run your accounting tools with, which has Peachtree or QuickBooks. And then these will be applicable to what you can actually export out of Midnight and what it looks like. You also have these two display total services and tax and display CPM on the estimates and orders screen. This just means that inside of your job, your users, like your sales reps and CSRs, can see the total of all services and or tax on the job. If you uncheck these, then the only way they can see that information is through reports. We also have the estimates and orders tab. And in here, we have a few controls which relate to order and handling. In particular, we have the display warning message that appears when opening closed orders, which when turned on, puts up a warning that says, hey, your order's closed, be careful to modify it. And also the lock orders after accounting export. This one looks at your order and says if there's an accounting export date or AR export date, then don't allow it to be modified by anybody else in the system. That said, an administrator does have the ability to make changes to an order that's been exported already, but you can imagine the problems that could come with Midnight exporting out information and then having users change that, and then finally running reports that compare information between the two programs. Other areas that you may find some value in include the copy group billing info on order copy. If you custom created a group billing method that consolidates services in a variety of ways, and you want that to carry forward into a duplicate version of that job that could be entered at a later date, for instance, a political season job or something of the like, you can make sure this is checked so that way that information is carried into the new order. You also have the enable purchase order copy when order copy button. This effectively creates a new PO when an order is copied if that order had a PO associated with it to begin with. It can be a great way to save time on your team for data entry when all they have to do is go into the PO and update some dates. The other areas for order data management come from the estimate/order list. You have your disposition, which allows you to fill in the details of what may be going on with a job, such as why it may have been canceled. You have your job progress, which is the status of your order across all versions. You have your order status, which relates to whether or not the order is active or inactive/closed. We have the order version status, which in conjunction with the dynamic job board allows you to update the status of your job in a variety of ways and also track the status of your versions or if you're running single version jobs, list your jobs in such a way that you can both one, monitor the status of the version as a whole, and two, utilize our version status view to click and drag to change the status of the order. For instance, if you've received a proof, updating it to proof approved. The options that we see in the admin menu in the majority of the sense can be updated by adding new options here in this bottom gray row. Fill out your options and click the Save Disk button here to commit that to the list of available choices that you'll have within the dropdown. And if you need to edit ones that currently exist, you can click the Edit button here to make the change to the row in question. You can also click the red X to remove it from your list of open and available options, thereby consolidating your list to show what matters. The record resolution corresponds to the unmailables, Canadian records, and foreign records tab within the data postage tab of an order. The same values here are used for all three of those different drop-down boxes. You do fill this out with as much accuracy as you can, as it affects three areas within the same screen. We also have the undelete orders area. If you or another user happens to delete an order out of midnight by accident, you can come into here, and if you check the checkbox for the job or jobs that you wish to turn back on, then once you click the Save and Close button, you'll make that order or those orders readily available for access again. The reason code is where you go to fill out different information about the issues that are associated with your job. You can have this reference either the problem or the solution details. And lastly, we have the user-defined field. In here, you can create either order or order version PDF. Again, these are up to 30 per area that can be listed set to appear within your job. Note that the order UDFs appear within the order details tab, and the order version UDFs appear within the general info tab. As you create these, you can activate them by editing one of the many that already exist, giving it a label name, a field type, which has a numbers only field like integers or decimals, or a text field that allows any type of text. You can fill out a field size or character length of what can be typed in. Or if you don't want to be able to type anything in, then you can fill out an input mask. And this prevents users from adding data other than what's listed within the series of options that are already there. You can also allow the order or order version UDF to copy between orders or order versions. And you can set export, so that way if you were to export an order backwards into an estimate, then the UDF data would be brought into that estimate. Once you've created a UDF and assigned it a field type, it cannot be changed. As you could imagine, changing the field type of something that allows text entry for 2 or 3 years to a numbers-only field would cause problems with the ones that are currently there. So be very careful in creating your UDFs. That covers pretty much everything for today's order-based training. If you have any questions, you can contact us through email at support@printreach.com. Alternatively, if you want to call us up, you'll find us available at area code 425-828-9495. extension 2. Thank you for watching today's video and have a great day.